I'm here with Jeanine Briggs, current artist in residence at the DeYoung, and just wondering a little more about your artistic background. If you could just explain where you studied and kind of where some of your inspiration comes from.
Well, mostly I'm self-taught. I always felt like I was an artist, always did things with art, but it's only been the last 10 to 15 years that I've started really devoting full-time almost to art, and I enjoy almost every type. I enjoy sculpting, painting. My inspiration comes from everywhere, mostly from nature, but also from human interpretations of nature, cultural traditions. I'm interested in all kinds of art forms and music, drama, dance. So inspiration really comes from everywhere, and just really living in the moment and enjoying what's going on around me.
Have you always done art with found objects, or is this a more recent type of art that you've done?
It's actually more recent. In 1998, we had an El Nino season in San Francisco, and I became really interested in what would happen to materials that were left out in the weather. And so I started gathering up natural materials and just leaving them outside. At that time I painted them, and so I wanted to see what would happen to the paint. And I was also interested in just the whole process due to the forces of nature, what happened to the hillsides, what happened in the gutters with debris. And so a lot of my work then took on the form of debris that was mounted on wood and then painted as if left there in that state.
Many of the works that you have here kind of look like people or like animals. Is that because of where the pieces come from, or is it just something that you find interesting, that the kind of garbage can take on the shapes of nature and animals?
Mostly the materials dictate the form they take. I work in abstract forms, but a lot of figurative work, people and animals. It just depends on the materials, and very often I have animal names for them, even though they're rather abstract in form. But again, I think it's really hard to find anything in art that is as imaginative as what is already found in nature. So my inspiration comes from just viewing animals everywhere, animal life, different forms on the planet, and with the people, with costuming, with traditions, with paint, tattooing, scarring, all the kinds of things that people do with the human body, costuming, masks. So it all feeds into my art.
Is there any specific material or found object that you enjoy working with and are excited when you find?
I use mostly wood and metal. Most recently I've discovered leather as a material, and I love to work with leather because it's so malleable, it's very sensuous, it's very spiritual because I think of the animals from which it came, and it's very strong, very durable. So metal, wood, animals, and natural materials. I'll work with anything, and in this project at the DeYoung, I'm working a lot with plastics, which I normally don't work with, but I wanted to call attention to our use of plastics, how much we depend on them, and the problems associated with them, as well as the function of plastic, how they're such a ubiquitous part of our lives. And I wanted people to think about how they might reduce their use of plastic, even though to a certain extent we are totally dependent on it.
Could you talk a little more about the project that you are doing right now for the DeYoung? The Detritussaurus is based on a dinosaur. Where did that idea come from?
The idea came from a work I did that's also on view right now. It's called The Earthworm. And the earthworm is a piece that is oval in form and was created by tying a number of materials onto an aluminum form. And I had so much fun doing it, just tying and weaving and winding and wrapping. And so when I thought about what I could do at the DeYoung as a public project that would involve everyone, the consideration was the kind of materials that I wanted to use, the kind of tools that would be required, and what could I do to involve people at all levels of experience and interest. And if people came in for just 5 minutes, what could they contribute as opposed to someone who wanted to spend 5 hours? And I felt that this was a project that fulfilled all those requirements, because it's actually turned out to do just that. Some people come in and spend very little time. Some people come in and actually create little sculptures that they can tie on, and it really requires nothing more than the kinds of things we all find in our own households.
Thank you so much.